Hello and welcome. Today, we'll be showing how to integrate Excel-based calculations into no-code platforms using Spreadsheet Web API. Before diving into the platform configuration, let's take a quick look at our sample Excel file. This is a shipping calculator spreadsheet that includes various data tables and complex formulas across multiple sheets. However, we will only be focusing on the input sheet, where we define our input and output cells. The sheet requires three inputs: origination zip, destination zip, and weight. These inputs are used to calculate the shipping cost. Each input and output value are assigned a named range, which will be key in the integration process. Next, we will publish this Excel file as an API on Spreadsheet Web. For simplicity, we will select Anonymous Access, though for enhanced security, you can choose the Require Authorization Access type. Once the API is published, make sure to record the Workspace ID and Application ID. First, we need to create an API in the Azure API Management system. From the left panel, select the API's option and create an HTTP request. After giving it a desired name, go to the Design tab, where we will enter our web service URL and authentication settings. Also, set the schema to HTTPS. Next, go to the Operation feature and create an operation. Under the Front-End Design section, give the display name of your choice, set the URL to a POST request and add your endpoint. In the lower panel, go to Headers and manually add the content type application JSON header. Now go to the request section and add your request body. Make sure to select the type as application JSON. Then, add the body to the sample section. Next, move to the response section, where you will add a response body with a 200 status, and make sure the type is also application JSON. Once all the settings are complete, you can save them and test the API from the test section. Before proceeding to Power Apps, navigate to the Power Platform section on the left panel and create a connector for our API. After creating the connector, save the subscription key, which will be needed in Power Apps. You can find this key by going to the Subscription section on the left panel and selecting one of the built-in All Access subscription keys. Now we can start building our application in Power Apps. Before adding any design elements, go to the Data section on the left panel and add the API we created as a data source. Here, you'll be prompted to enter the subscription key we saved from the API management system. After successfully adding the API, go to the Design section on the left panel and add three input text fields, one text label and one button. Update the names of the input text fields to match the input values of your request body. Similarly, name the text label based on the output. Before mapping the inputs and outputs, go to the Power Automate section on the left panel and create a new flow. In the first step of the flow, add three text entries for the inputs and name them appropriately to match your API inputs. In the second step, select the custom action and add the API connector we previously created. Set the content type to application JSON and map the inputs by selecting the text entries from the first step. This allows us to dynamically pass the inputs to the API. In the final step, add a when an HTTP request is received action and map the response body to capture the cost value from the custom action. Save the flow. Go back to the Design section in Power Apps and map the button that we named Submit to call the flow. Use the text function to ensure that the input values are sent as strings, as required by the Spreadsheet Web API. Lastly, map the output value to the text label so that the response is displayed correctly. Now, you can test your application.